I'm going to craft a completely original YouTube-style narration that reimagines the topic from a creator's perspective, with heavy commentary and a fresh structure. I'll avoid simply paraphrasing the source, and instead build a new flow that feels like a live, opinionated breakdown. Here goes a fully original script. What If Saving Earth from Asteroids isn't a sci-fi plot but a real, near-term project that blends private ambition with public science. Today I'm digging into Blue Origin's Annual Hunter, not as a press release, but as a lens on how we defend our planet, how technology moves, and why every telescope on Earth matters. Let's start with the big idea. Annual Hunter is pitched as a flexible planetary defense platform that tests different asteroid deflection techniques in collaboration with NASA and Caltech. Personally, I think the core promise here isn't just a single trick, it's a portfolio approach. If you're facing a rocky road with speed and mass beyond easy control, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You diversify methods, data gathering with small satellites, non-destructive steering via ion beams, and a robust contingency plan for kinetic disruption if needed. What makes this really interesting is that it emphasizes constant learning, using real data from real rocks to fine-tune our defense toolkit. In my opinion, that shift from one grand plan to a suite of validated options could change how agencies and companies cooperate on planetary defense. Idea 1. Cubesats as reconnaissance scouts. What this really suggests is a change in tempo. Instead of waiting for a big mission to arrive at an asteroid, you deploy many tiny observers to gather composition, mass, and velocity data. This matters because the properties of a space rock determine the best way to nudge it off course. A metal-rich rock might respond differently to a push than a rubble pile. From my perspective, the value isn't just in the data, it's in the iterative feedback loop. Early measurements guide early decisions, and those decisions teach us how to design better tools for the next rock we meet. A detail I find fascinating is how these tiny satellites could act like neural probes for space, gathering sensory data, learning patterns, and informing more precise interventions. If you take a step back and think about it, this is crowdsourced planetary defense in a high-tech keyframe. Idea 2. The ion beam as a non-destructive shove. The ion beam concept is the standout for me. It's a beam of charged particles aimed to exert a gentle, but persistent tug on the asteroid's trajectory. This is not Hollywood-style kaboom. It's physics-first restraint and finesse. What many people don't realize is that even a tiny continuous push can accumulate into a meaningful course change over time. The comparison to DART is apt. We've seen a purposeful impact program prove that shifting an asteroid's orbit is possible. But ion propulsion as a deflection tool adds a different flavor. It prioritizes subtlety, repeatability, and control. What this raises is a deeper question. Should our defense toolkit lean more towards subtle, data-driven nudges, or do we need the safety valve of a kinetic blowtorch option for the largest rocks? In my opinion, the future lies in having both, with robust decision rules about when to swap from one method to another. Idea 3. A kinetic disruption backstop. Even if the non-destructive route works most days, there's a contingency plan, the high-speed collision, delivering a direct impulse to alter the asteroid's path. The numbers here, speeds over 22,000 miles per hour, are staggering, but the logic is simple. If you can't bend it softly, you bend it hard, then study the aftermath. A real-time slam cam would document the impact, turning a one-off event into priceless data for future defense design. This is very much the NASA DRD playbook expanded and commercialized. What this implies is a two-layer defense, a preferred, least harmful method, and a proven capability backup that you deploy only when needed. One thing that immediately stands out is how this approach transforms the asteroid defense problem from a single mission into a sequence of learnings. Each step informs the next. From my view, This is how we build institutional resilience for space threats. Idea 4. Public-private collaboration as the new default. Blue Origin's cadence here isn't just about tech. It's about how the orange line of profit intersects with the blue line of public safety. The company frames this as low-cost, high-priority science and defense missions that private platforms can perform with public partners. What makes this worth noticing is the shift in who holds the rails for space defense. If private companies can consistently contribute credible defense capabilities, funding models, and rapid iteration cycles, we might see a global system where many players share risk and reward. A deeper reflection: planetary defense isn't a national project anymore. It's a global portfolio, and the best outcomes come from cross-pollination, NASA's stringent standards, Caltech's research rigor, and private sector agility all under one umbrella. In my opinion, this is how space programs scale without becoming monopolies by one country or one corporation. Idea 5. The broader context: why this matters now. Asteroid threats used to feel like a centuries-away problem, something flaky in sci-fi. Now we're tracking real near-Earth objects with increasing precision, and the public is seeing news cycles about near passes and meteorites. What this story underscores is a simple trend: defense is becoming a continuous, engineering-driven activity rather than a last-minute crisis response. If you zoom out, NEO Hunter isn't just about defending Earth. It's about building a repeatable blueprint for planetary defense that currencies risk, science, and industry into one cohesive pipeline. That's a powerful template for how we handle other existential risks: climate tech, biosecurity, space traffic management, by embracing collaboration, modular tech, and iterative testing. Deeper insight: what a successful NEO Hunter would teach us. If the project proves effective, we'll have a playbook that demonstrates data-driven targeting plus gentle steering beats brute force most of the time, a credible backstop plan that's ready when gentle methods fail, and a collaboration framework that makes large, ambitious objectives feasible without waiting for a single mega mission. The meta lesson is clear: don't chase a single silver bullet. Build a system that learns from every encounter and evolves its defenses accordingly. In practice, that means better early warning systems, clearer risk thresholds, and transparent decision criteria about when to deploy ion beams, kinetic hits, or a combination of approaches. Closing thought: we're watching the birth of planetary defense as a field that marries ambition with practicality. The real story isn't just about the rocks out there. It's about how we organize human effort to protect everyone here on Earth. So what do you think? Will a diversified, partnership-driven approach be enough to defend our planet, or do we need a more centralized, treaty-level framework to coordinate these capabilities globally? Drop your take in the comments, and tell me which part of NEO Hunter you find the most compelling and why. Personally, I think the future of space defense belongs to teams that combine curiosity, caution, and a willingness to iterate quickly. What this really suggests is that our path to keeping Earth safe might be less about hero devices and more about a well-ordered system of tests, data, and collaboration.